All right, so some beginning thoughts on reel mowing in general and why you reel mow versus rotary mow, and it really has to do with a better cut, scissor cut versus more of like a tearing cut with a rotary mower. There's lots of videos on those things that you guys can watch on YouTube. But for me, I can't really afford a really high dollar reel mower right now, and so the SunJoe was such a alluring option for me, and so I wanted to get that, and so we're going to unbox it here in a minute and kind of do that. Here's the thing though with reel mowers is you really want to have a pretty flat yard. Hills are probably not the greatest for reel mowers. You also don't want to have like a lot of stuff in your yard, so you really need to take care and manage your yard, rake it, make sure there's no rocks, sticks, things of that nature, because it really will mess up the blades and the reel and all those things. So it's kind of like a specialty thing. You know, if you're doing fescue and you've got like 2-inch fescue or 2.5-inch fescue, then you can do a reel mower. Just make sure some stuff, the rocks and sticks are out of the way, and you'll have a pretty good time with it. If you've got Bermuda and you're trying to go real low, you really have to kind of manage that in your yard, because you really don't want to be running over debris in your yard, because it'll mess it up pretty quickly. So it's not just for usually the average homeowner who's just wanting to mow their lawn, right? You should just get a rotary mower and go at it and replace the blades, and that's easy. Reel mowing is a little bit more dedicated to making sure your lawn is super well kept. There's not a lot of stuff in it, and so that as you reel mow, you're not going to mess those blades up. So it takes a little bit more effort if you're going to do that. The SunJoe is pretty cheap though, and it has replacement blades, which I was able to find online. If you actually go to SunJoe's site, where I bought mine at, they automatically start your 2-year warranty, and you can extend that if you want. But they also, under the page where the reel mower is, you can buy replacement blades. And so I've seen some other people complain about, you know, how do I replace these blades? Well, they sell them for about 25 bucks. You can get 24 of their replacement blades and completely replace all the blades in your reel mower with the SunJoe. So that's out there as an option as well. So let's unbox, and we'll kind of talk as we go and put it together and look at the blades and all those things, and then we'll come back at the end with some closing thoughts. All right, everybody, I just recently purchased the 16-inch 6.5 amp reel mower from SunJoe. And I've been wanting a reel mower for a while now. Some of the higher end ones are very expensive, and so I thought before I went to that, I wanted to try the SunJoe. I have this reel mower, this Fisker in the back that I got a good deal on, and I really like it, and I've been using it to mow my lawn, but there's times when the grass just gets too tall, and you're trying to mow, and it really is a workout. Like I still love this mower. It's great when it's wet, if you're able to mow when it's wet, but there's times when the lawn just got away from me this last year, and trying to mow with this reel mower really just wasn't an option at that point. I'd have to go over it with my regular Husqvarna over here, and then I kind of got out of the habit of reel mowing. So this is an electric version. I wanted to get it to try it before I invested just a ton of money in one of those higher end model reel mowers. This guy supposedly only goes down to 1 inch, and typically with reel mowing, you're wanting kind of that golf course turf type of turf. I have Bermuda. If you keep Bermuda at 1 inch, it does pretty well. I want to see if there's a possibility of modifying this by putting different wheels on to get it down to 1/2 inch. So we'll look at it and we'll kind of see what's going to happen, but I thought I would do an unboxing. I've got a dethatcher, the SunJoe dethatcher, and Scarifiers coming as well. There's tons of videos on YouTube of that guy, and it's a great machine, and so I'm looking forward to getting that as well. But let's open this up, see what all we got here. All right. This is a Leatherman Skillet tool, by the way. I love this thing. It's a great deal. All right, close that. Put that away. All right, so you get a bagger. A lot of people say you don't use the bagger. I think I may use the bagger at times. We'll see how it goes, but I know a lot of people don't use them because they're kind of small, but I may end up using that more than I think. So you got a bag. Put that over there. Here is this piece, and it looks like it is actually attached to the mower, so we'll, oh, there goes the arms. All right, set that guy out there, put that down there. All right, so it pretty much comes together. Let's see here, I also, oh, they've kind of gotten out of the box here. I ordered when I bought this, extra blades. And so they were put in here, but they've come out of their little holder. So I'm gonna pick these up real fast. So there's 24, I believe, of these blades here. There's also the connectors. Yeah, so you can order more of these blades, and this is what they look like. Not sure how well you can see that, but that's kind of what those blades look like. They're individual. You can just push down, I believe, pull them out. We may try that in a minute. But they came in this bag and they kind of got loose in travel. Look in here. Oh, here's a couple more. Make sure I get all of them. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Manual. Hopefully, all of the blades stayed in the box. We will see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's count them real quick. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So if I counted right, that is 24. I'll count them again later because I kind of dropped them in the middle. All right, well, let's finish putting this guy together. Okay, so you got 2 arms, and then this guy's already attached here. So basically we're just putting the arms in and extending it out here. We will look at the directions just to see. One thing that people really like about SunJoe is that they have very good customer service. And so I actually bought this from SunJoe, and when I bought it, it started my 2-year warranty automatically, so I'm already registered with them because they have a record of that. So, different language, regular language. Let's see here. All right, I wanted to kind of show you how this handle goes on. I know some people have complained about it online on other devices, but as you can see, there's kind of like this fold in the metal here. Kind of makes an arch. Well, that's gonna go on the inside, and I'm able just to kind of push it down, and then you've got these little designs here and here that match up here and here, and so those are gonna go just like so. You're gonna take this piece, you're going to righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Sometimes it takes a sec. There it goes. Looks like it got caught. And that right there may be enough. I might go around one more time. All right, and down we go. There we go. That is the handle attached to the mower. Now let's move up and do the other. I think a lot of times when we're dealing with some of this equipment, we have a tendency to over-tighten things. All righty, and get it to line up right. Yeah, it's just a matter of, it's there, just not one to grab. Nope. This one was the one I was using on the other side, and it took it a second to, there it goes. Just grab just right. Let's see, I'll try one more time. That is pretty tight, but that'll work. Okay. Now, the next step. Okay, now we've got a couple pieces here. Hit the last one. All right, so we've got this piece, and this piece. This guy is gonna go like this, I do believe. And it's going to hook. Actually, it's gonna go the other way. It's gonna go like this. And then this comes up here. So it sits like that. And then we simply take this piece, screw it down, and loosen it up a little bit if you want. Yeah, just like that. All right, we'll do the other side. screw it down nice and tight. Can loosen it a little bit and just make sure. There's that. All right. Then all that's left is some of the cable ties. Okay, so one thing I forgot to do was put this guy on before I put this thing on. So we're gonna take this off real quick, slide this little extension cord holder up here, like so. It comes up here to the handle. I'll show you that in a minute. And then we'll put this guy back together. All right, there we go. These guys, got the little clips. Good grief. There we go. One more up here at the top. Okay. Tight. Okay, that's it. It is ready to rock and roll at this point. Let's get a big stop here. Refer to the manual. Basically 16 gauge for 50 feet, 14 gauge for 50 plus, up to 100 feet. And the reason that is if you use a smaller gauge electrical cord, you run the risk of creating a fire because of the amperage that the device is using over distance. So I've got a quick example. I went ahead and got a 12 gauge because the Skillet fire I think is closer to 16 amps, something around there. This right here, I hope you can see this, is a 16 gauge. This right here is a 12 gauge. And so basically the 12 is obviously larger. And the way it works with the American wire gauge is as the number gets smaller, it gets bigger. So 12 is bigger than 16, then you go down to 10 or 8 or so on and so forth until you get to 0, and then it goes to aughts, which is really big stuff on the top end and starts counting back up again, 1 aught, 2 aught, 3 aught. But anyway, you want to make sure that you get the right extension cord. If you're using the wrong one, it'll start to get really, really hot and really, really bendy, and that's a sign that your extension cord is probably too small. So I went ahead and got a 100-foot 12 gauge because the Scarifier and dethatcher wants a 12 gauge extension cord. So just make sure you're using the right extension cord. You don't cause a fire or melt your extension cord and cause some problems. So let's look underneath real fast at the SunJoe. Here we are. Here's the blade system spinning around. Now one thing I wanted to try, we'll probably pause right here, is a lot of guys you'll see when they do reel mowers, they'll take a piece of paper and they'll stick it in there to see if it's sharp and if it's attenuating right and it's set up. From what I can see, you don't really move this bed knife. It just kind of stays put, and it's engineered to cut and set up just as it is. There is a little button in here, push down, the blade comes out, and that's where how you can replace the blades. Push down again, blade goes back in, and then you make sure that it's clicks like so, and then it's set and it's ready to go. So I'm gonna go get some paper. I'll be right back. We'll try it, see if it'll cut paper. All right, so I want to show you first how a reel mower usually will cut. It's always good to wear gloves with this, but kind of see if we can do this real quick. It kind of chops the paper off as it goes around. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but that's typically how it cuts. Use the bed knife down here, kind of scrapes across the bottom, and cut that piece of paper off real nice and clean. Now we'll see what the SunJoe can do. All right, so here is the SunJoe with, it's kind of turned on its side here. I don't have it upside down, but you can see all those 24 individual blades that are in there. Put some gloves on, and I'm gonna try to get the camera a little bit closer. Not sure how be able to move this a little bit easier. So you can see as it comes around, that's about the spacing that you get. So the blades are not physically touching. They don't make a scraping sound as they come around. Now, I'm suspicious when this is actually up to speed, you get all that centrifugal force going, if those blades don't flex a little bit out and may actually rub just a little bit. But we'll see if it can cut a piece of paper. I'm not super worried if it doesn't, because I think that speed as it kind of goes around, let's just see here. I'm gonna have to, oh, let me come up one so you guys can see. Yeah, it didn't cut like a standard reel on metal. It's not cutting quite as close right there, just with me kind of pushing it around. You can hear it hitting and kind of scraping a little bit. But here's my suspicion about that. Even though it's not cutting like a standard reel mower is when you adjust it, I'm thinking that because you can feel these blades move just a touch when you just kind of pull on them. So as that sucker starts to spin, I'm thinking it's gonna actually create a little bit tighter gap. I'm not sure if you can see that gap in there, but there's a little bit. Turn it a little bit more. See if you can see the light behind it. You can kind of just barely see. It's really close. And this is a particular design of reel mower. It's kind of common. Some reel mowers want to actually touch the bed knife and others don't. So really, at the end of the day, it's does it cut, and does it cut well? And so that's what we're gonna look at as we go along here and see how well it does. All right, I'm gonna put my gloves back on here, and we're gonna try something real quick. I'm gonna shoot this sucker at 240 frames a second and then slow it down for you in post, just to see kind of how this reel does. Now, this is not how this machine is intended to be used, so you do not want to do this typically, but I have a buddy helping me, and we're gonna hold this guy down and just kind of see how this goes and how these blades flip around here. Let me move that a little more center. All right, here we go. Let's try this. So even just looking at that right there, I saw a little bit of flex kind of going on. So I imagine those blades get really, really close to that bed knife to give you a nice clean cut. All right guys, so this is my yard right now. It's April in Arkansas. And this is Bermuda. Had it scalped about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And so it's just starting to come up. I still need to go through and dethatch. I got the dethatcher, the SunJoe dethatcher scarifier coming, so I plan on doing that at some point, but I thought it'd be fun to go ahead and kind of roll over what's up here and just kind of see how this does. And I'm at 1 inch, so I don't plan on picking up a lot here, but just try it out. SunJoe also suggests putting your extension cord to the right, so as I go across here, kind of stay out of the way of that. So just something to think about. Here we go. Okay. Pretty easy, man. Pretty lightweight, easy to do. Kind of show you what it picked up so far. Looks pretty fine. Kind of bring that over here. Show you what all it got there. So we're moving right along. Now, obviously I don't have much grass to cut just yet, but looks like it's gonna do a pretty good job. So I'll be updating this video as time goes on and hopefully put in some actual mowing footage, but I wanted to try it out and seems great. So we'll kind of see as we go along here. But so far, extremely satisfied. And I'll probably wait to replace the wheels and see what that 1 inch cut actually looks like before I search out different wheel sizes to see if I can take this even lower. All right, that's it for now. All right, so as you can tell, I don't really have a lot of grass right now to mow after that. I did do a little bit more mowing after I shut the camera off just to just to play with it a little bit more. And I will say that so far, from what I can tell, I think I'm gonna be really happy with this mower. And my yard is not super flat, so I need to come in and do some leveling and bring some topsoil in and do that. And so being at 1 inch is probably about as low as I wanna go with my yard currently how it is now. So before I look for new wheels and wanna try to lower that even more to like 1/2 inch, I really need to get my yard leveled and flat and get some of that undulation taken out of it so that I don't mess up the reel as I'm going. So it's gonna be a journey. I may shoot some more as we go along, and when the grass grows a little bit more and I'm able to get out there and mow, I'll shoot some more footage of that for you guys so you guys can see kind of what the final product and the cut is from the SunJoe Reel Mower. Hope you enjoyed this. See you next time.